Hello everybody, hi, I'm Jewel and welcome to my channel. Today's topic is There is No Greater Good. This is a living organ donor story coming from the National Kidney Foundation and written by Daniel Appleby, a National Kidney Foundation volunteer. On September the 20th, 2016, I'm less than 2 weeks away from my scheduled transplant surgery. Just yesterday I met with a dear friend, Teresa, who felt compelled to remind me that it still wasn't too late for me to change my mind about donating one of my kidneys to another friend in need. The tone of her reminder was surprisingly confrontational, as were the questions that followed. Why are you doing this? Why? Why are you risking your life for someone you hardly even know? This person is not family or even a loved one. It makes no sense. My response was my usual retort, it's not about him. But Teresa wasn't buying my greater good argument or my insistence that I was doing it for myself, and so I tried explaining. My desire to contribute to the greater good was inspired by Bernie Sanders, actually. I worked as a volunteer on his campaign, and that work more than anything or anything else convinced me on a very profound level that we are all in this together. Consequently, I now believe it is the responsibility for each of us to do what we can to take care of one another. Lofty sentiments coming from the likes of yours truly, but nevertheless sincere. Teresa was appalled. You know, working on that Bernie Sanders campaign ruined you. You used to be fun. You used to be a fun guy. Now all you want to do is save the world. You and your greater good. There is no greater good. Doesn't the fact that Bernie Sanders is not the candidate prove that? Teresa, who was named after Mother Teresa, by the way, was in rare form and decidedly on a roll. That said, it seemed to me she was also stuck in her narrow, if not closed-minded way of thinking. It simply wasn't selfishness or lack of compassion or empathy on her part, because clearly her intentions were good and even caring on some level. But our disconnect was also nothing short of profound. Unfortunately for me, her refrains were all too familiar, because I had heard them before and worse from other friends and loved ones. And in each case, they put me on the defensive, which inevitably turned out to be very stressful. And so rather than spend my precious time trying to explain myself, I would end those conversations as soon as they began. Thankfully, the majority of my friends and loved ones do not share Teresa's opinion. The majority see it as a noble and selfless and even heroic on some level. And such, they have been genuinely supportive, even cheering me on, as it were. Nevertheless, Teresa's questions linger, and for better and worse, the closer I got to my scheduled surgery date, the more I am similarly challenged. My nephew, who also expressed concern about my decision, recently informed me that he is not registered as an organ donor. He confessed that for him, it's a matter of trust. He simply does not trust the medical industry, not hospitals, not doctors, or EMTs. Nurses he trusts, but the rest of him, not in the least. There are just too much money in the illicit harvesting of human organs, he tells me. You've seen the movies. What movies, I've asked. Teresa, for example, he replies. That movie I have seen, I tell him. One of the producers on that film is an old friend of mine. He was also a Minnesota homegrown. The movie opened to mostly terrible reviews, but I enjoyed it as comedies go. It's not a comedy, my nephew insents. It's not, I ask. I stand corrected. I tell him, the point is, it's fiction. You can't really believe that anyone who is even thinking about harvesting your organs would take the time to examine your driver's license, let alone be stopped by the fact that you did not check the organ donor box. I didn't think in those terms, he said. What other terms are they, I asked. Then I catch myself and change my tone. Hey, I get it. There are a lot of people who are not comfortable even discussing the subject. The problem is 12 people die needlessly every day, waiting on kidneys that don't arrive in time to save them because there are not enough organ donors. You're blaming me for that, my nephew defensively asked. No, I'm blaming your point of view, which is woefully misinformed, I respond. You're on a high horse again, Uncle. Sorry, I tell him. Occupational hazard. Those were yesterday's conversations. Early this morning, after yet another restless night, my subconscious provided me what I think is a rather eloquent answer to the reoccurring question of why anyone would become an organ donor. This particular answer is one I am almost certain I have not heard before. So for me, it was an epiphany of sorts when the voice in my head suggested, think of what you're doing as a form of philanthropy. Philanthropy, of course, takes many forms, the most obvious being financial. Some are blessed with more money than they need, and the abundance of that blessing compels them to use their wealth to help others or contribute to the greater good. I happen to be blessed with extraordinary good health, which includes 2 perfectly healthy kidneys. Kidneys are redundant organs, and the most of us only need one of them during the course of our lifetime. Possessing 2 kidneys that are in perfect health enables and yes compels me and others like me to donate one of them to help others who are less fortunate. The other in my case happens to be an old friend suffering from kidney disease that will surely kill him if he does not receive a transplant and soon, which is to say that my donated kidney will most probably save my friend's life. How can that not make sense to anyone? My transplant surgery took place on September 29th, 2016. I am extremely happy to report that it was successful. Both donor and recipient recovered quickly and are now living healthy and grateful lives. In the United States, the sale of organs are banned under the National Organ Transplant Act of 1984, NOTA. Most states have passed required request laws. These required hospitals to have a system in place for asking the family members of someone who has died to consider donating their loved one's organs and tissues. The family members must sign a consent form before donation can take place, even if the person had indicated the desire to be a donor by signing a uniform donor card or an organ donor declaration on his or her driver's license. That is why it is so important to tell family members about your decision to become a donor. Okay, everyone, There Is No Greater Good. And as you see, this is a great story. Not only that, but it's understandable that Anthony Appleby's family were very concerned about him, giving this kidney to a friend. But as he told them, it is perfectly safe to do so. And for other people that are thinking or want to consider this, talk to your doctor and let them inform you that it is not as hard as you think it is. So guys, for anyone that have liked this video and found it useful, please like, share, and subscribe. And as you see, there are so many wonderful people out there that are willing to give and donate. So all we have to do is ask, and the big ask, the big give, and it can be possible for everyone. So guys, please, if you like this video, again, please like, share, and subscribe. And please know that there are so many wonderful people out there that want the better good for all of us that are dealing with kidney disease. So no, the only thing that you have to do is stay compliant with your doctors. Take care of yourselves always, always, and know that you are not alone in this. I am sending you so much love and affection. And this is coming from the whole organization because everyone is thinking about you guys. So take care of yourselves, be positive, be hopeful, and I will see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.